need to put some cucumbers over my eyes. I got baggy eyes.
You might have to.
Man said my eyes baggy.
Hey, boys, we live.
Welcome back to another edition of the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. We got the crew in the building on Vroom Vroom Wednesday. We got Cheetah 740, Smitty, and the one and only Bobby Shakes. What's going on, fellas?
What's
How you
happening,
doing
man?
today? How's everything going?
Not bad, not bad.
Nice. You know, as always, guys, we're starting in our orders. But yeah, how's it going today, Cheetah, man?
Good, man. Good, man. Just happy to be back. You know, I couldn't come on earlier, bro. But this is it was a lot of racing to catch up on this weekend. I couldn't do it honestly all in the weekend because I was busy and I had to get a lot done. I did watch a few of them live, but man, there was a lot of crashes, man. A lot of crash drama going on that we can really unpack here in a second.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot, man, because it was 3 days of not 3 days, a weekend of three different major series going on: Moto America, MotoGP, and World Superbike. So there's definitely a lot to talk about and a lot of action that was packed into this past weekend. Smitty, what's good, man? How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Can't complain. This weekend I caught probably all of the GP racing, some of Moto America and World Superbike. I didn't catch much at all this weekend though, but MotoGP was great, man. I loved every minute of it, So
Yeah, no, it was definitely action packed, and it was one of the few races that in the main GP race that ended with only 10 guys, and so we'll definitely dive into that. Bobby Shakes, man, what's good, man? I know you got like how many podcasts are you doing right now, man?
Five.
Damn.
Man's a busy man. What's good, man?
I'm out of MotoGP and Superbike. I'm done.
what do you mean?
Guys, this right here is worth nothing. Money has no value. Hype has no value.
I see.
When I see Marquez do the internet meme dance after winning, I've lost all respect for Marc Marquez. You are a champion. You are a leader. You're not supposed to follow the hype. You set the trend. You don't follow the trend. And that's what it means to be a champion. I'm very disappointed. Top Rat could do it because he's not one of us. He's not a winner. He's in the lower division. But once you get into that winner's circle, you have to behave like a leader. And
Okay.
I think I'm out on Ducati.
Hey, it's been a while since I've done a thing with Bobby, man. I forgot.
Yeah, he's a nutcase.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Bobby on his meds, man. But it's gonna be an interesting show for sure. But let's talk about the show, guy. Let's talk about the MotoGP. I'll ask a general question: what your thoughts of the overall weekend? It was a record-breaking crowd for the Saxon Ring, over 250,000 people. The qualifying was ridiculous. A lot of competitive riders, competitive manufacturers outside of Ducati. Obviously, there was some crashes that happened and stuff like that for some riders, and they didn't get a chance to race over the weekend. So definitely a lot. And the main GP was crazy. Moto 2 was crazy. So we'll start with Cheetah. What are your thoughts of the overall weekend?
Man, it was a crazy overall weekend. The most memorable things are just the stuff that happened in the sprint. All the good manufacturers doing great right now. Aprilia, Yamaha, KTM, they're doing well in the rain right now. We're seeing the comeback from 93 when he ran wide in turn one, had to come back through all the pack and easily made it happen. Everyone expected that. And then the drama from Sunday, oh my goodness, everybody went down, putting people in positions that they've never been in this whole series. You got people in the up front category they shouldn't really be in because half the grid went down. There's only 10 people. So, it was just it was a crazy weekend, crazy track situations, conditions that they pushed through. These are killers. These are warriors. They pushed through everything and gave us a show at the end of the day.
Nice. They did, man.
Yeah.
Smitty, what are your thoughts?
No, I kind of, let piggyback on what Cheetah just said. But it was odd because this past weekend, if you take Saturday sprint race and, prior to that, turn 8 was taking everybody out, turn 8.
Mm-hmm.
But then the actual race on Sunday was turn 1. So I still can't understand why it happened because the races were dry, right? So the turn 8 just killed everybody Saturday and turn 1 on Sunday. But like you said, 10 guys finished, which was like the second lowest ever since like 90 something, a long time ago. So very, very, very historic weekend. Also, why was cool because it was Mark Marquez's 200th start. It was Alex's 100th start. And then it was also Marquez's 9th win, which is the most wins at one track ever. Also, he took over second place officially by passing Agostini. So he's number 2 now in all-time wins behind Ross. So this weekend, you know, like the week was historic in many ways, you know. So
Right. Yeah, I think, and you know, we'll talk about it some more with the crashes. I think because they had Saturday was wet, and I think they usually figure out a lot of stuff in the Sunday GP in the sprint race. But you know, Saturday was such a wet day. I think that's the issue, that they just didn't have enough time. But you know, we'll like I said, we'll dive more into that. Shakes, man, what are your thoughts of the GP? I know you said you're done, so you know, I don't know how this is gonna go.
I think somebody walked into the paddock, knocked on Jorge Martin's door, and said, "What are you going to do now? Aprilia's here. It's a winning bike. We're seeing the momentum as we get deep into the season. We're seeing Aprilia making that run." That's all I was worried about, because we know it's an Alex, and we know Morbidelli's gonna fail me again. He's been my dark horse all season. We know that. We know Alex is gonna do his thing. We know Marquez is gonna do his thing. I thought that Honda would have won with all the crashes, because the only way Honda can really win is with crashes, or rain, or if it's an act of God. So that was the most surprising thing. But I think Jorge Martin's got a wake up call. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
The bike can win. Can you win? That's it.
Yeah,
we'll see next week.
We'll see.
I completely agree with that, and we'll talk about that. I mean, I think the big boss also gave him a few choice words. But yeah, man, you know, Cheetah, I know it's your turn to ask the question, so let's see what you got, man.
Oh man, I hadn't even thought of one, but if we had to bring one up, I guess I'm gonna ask: was Marc Marquez dropping oil in the race? Because everybody behind him that was in leading behind him, Bez, Digi, besides Alex was behind him too. Maybe he gave him the brother a little pass. Maybe he told him, I'm going to drop oil on lap 2, lap 3 on the right side or something, because Zarco, Acosta, everyone behind him, boom, went down 5, 6, 7 people. And then all of a sudden you got Marini Binder all of a sudden in top 10.
The second place curse.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's going on, man? Is it Marquez Manor right now? That's what they said, right? It's Marquez Manor, and he's not putting his foot off anyone's neck right now.
Right. You know, I agree with you as far as it is Marquez. Well, we already knew the Sachsenring is Marquez's, but it seems like the title is coming close to the summer break, Smitty. So I think the title, you know, might be out of reach for anyone else. So I might finally throw in the towel.
I've said it since race 1.
No, I feel really bad for Bezzecchi and Digia, because one, Bezzecchi had a rough year last year on trying to get that 23 bike right on the Ducati. So for him to be back up front like he was in 2022, I know he feels really good. So that, I mean, even though he had the win in Silverstone, and he had the 2 podiums in Assen, he was close, and he seems to be the closest guy to push Mark at the moment. Digi's finding his way, and I think it's the same thing. These guys they're riding the fastest they've ridden all year. And now they're finding out their limitations, or they're finding the limits, or trying to manage the limits, because, you know, when you're back in 8th and 9th place or 7th place or anything like that, you still have to deal with the rider in front of you. But when he's out front like that, so I feel really bad for those 2 crashing. Also Costa, you know, that was you know, that was really bad, because, you know, same thing. He's had a tough time last year. And, you know, to see all those guys go down, you know, out on the plus side, it helps out Marini, because coming back, getting a 6th place for Honda, you know, that's a good look. Zarco is another guy that, you know, he was second on the grid. and crashed out as well. And so it's I don't think it's Marquez's oil coming off the right boot, but you know what I'm saying.
I mean, listen, Mark was on a different level, man. He was the only person hitting consistent 20s the whole race.
Yeah,
and nobody could get into the 20s, and then he started dipping into 21s later in the race. But Rossi's only chance, Digi went down. You know what I'm saying? He was right there, and he was up there giving everyone a shot for that podium, but unfortunately he goes down. So it would have been him and Bez probably battling it out, honestly. But unfortunately, you know, both those guys went down. So yeah.
All right, Smitty, what do you want to add to that?
No. I mean, I kind of agree. Thought he said, but like I said, I still don't understand why people kept crashing. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Probably they saw Marquez and tried to match his pace and couldn't do it, and they kind of rode above their limits, and that's why they crashed. But it was always turn one, so but I can't put my finger on why they kept crashing.
Yeah.
And then, but hold on now, Marquez as usual. I'm not saying. Hold on, well, Rex. So you just said that they're trying to push to get closer to him. They aren't. They're just happy to get second place. That's all, honestly, man. I think those guys are all fighting for second place now because they know they're not beating Mark.
Yeah,
They might not win. They might not win the championship, but they're not fighting for second place.
Yes.
None of those guys are. Listen, man. I know it's easy to say, but there's nobody fighting. Maybe some Cantor, but there's nobody else fighting for second place. Like,
Okay.
Bez is out of the VR46 Academy. He's on the bike. Them guys are not trying to fight. Rossi don't believe in second place. Come on, man.
That's Rossi. It's different.
He's the owner of the team. So he's not going to have riders who are trying to phone it home.
Okay, Rex. All right, listen. It's racing. Racing. There are pockets of racing, right? There's group 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and so forth, right? And those first 5 guys are trying to get first place. Those 6 through 10, they're kind of seeing, okay, you know what? Can I hit the third spot on the podium? Maybe probably a best top 5. Right now, there's one pocket, and that's Mark. Then everybody else is their own pocket of racing. Be honest with you, it ain't gonna happen. Mark is the only guy that can beat himself. But so far this year, but has Mark lost like yet? I mean, like gotten beat straight up yet? Has he?
Not yet. He's been close.
No.
Okay then.
But if he crashes out, so other people have won. I mean, there's 2 other winners, so I mean, it is what it is. What are your thoughts, Jake?
So different sport, but on topic. 50 days before the NFL season starts, and you have the Cleveland Browns, you have the Rams, you have Chicago Bears, you have the Patriots. Everybody goes to mini camp thinking we're going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Every team thinks that they're going to win the Super Bowl. So why would a rider, a professional, think, you know what? Yeah, I'm a professional. I'm going to go for second place. Come on. Another thing I'd like to add to our friend Cheetah here. Welcome back, Cheetah. I love you. There seems to be a terrible, terrible conspiracy with everybody on this show. Every time Mark wins, it's oil from his boot. He waited for the last minute to run off the track to change tires. He's going really hard, and then he's slowing down so Alex can catch up. Why can't we just be legendary, guys? Why can't we just be legendary? Why can't we just give the man his props? He's great. Everybody sucks. And that's it. There's no conspiracy. He's not cheating. He's just legendary. I just want to hear that once from everybody on the panel.
Nah.
He is legendary, no doubt. I mean, he is one of the greatest riders to ever ride. No one's not saying we're not saying he's not.
He's the GOAT.
But at the end of the day, Magic was nasty. Jordan was nasty. But if you're in Boston, you're rooting for Boston. It is what it is. I mean, so I have nothing against Marquez at all. But at the end of the day, those other riders on the grid, they want to win.
Yeah, they do. And I want to respond. I want to get a chance to respond to Bobby Shakes. The thing is, you comparing football to motorcycling, first off, is a sin, right? Because one, you're talking about a team sport versus individual. So every team may come together and bond together and say, we're going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But when you out there by yourself on the bike you've been on and you continue to push by yourself and your team is just sending you messages that you see on your dash, and at every start finish line, you see a message saying how far someone is behind you or in front of you. That's all you get. So at the end of the day, you might have to settle for second place. If you know racing, that's how it goes. You just know the better man is the better man. It comes out in qualifying pretty quickly. Starting the first 5 minutes, you can tell if you're watching the time, there's a guy out there that's just putting it down early. Still 3 seconds off race pace, but he's just out there, already faster than everyone.
So let's just cancel the season and give Marquez a trophy.
Nobody gives up, though. People are still going to go box if it's a boxing match, no matter how good the other person is, right? You don't give it your all. But there is a reality on not to chase Marc Marquez because you're going to burn your tires out chasing a guy like that.
And crash.
You're going to crash, or you're going to burn your tires out and not be ready to push the rest of the race distance to keep Pecco behind you if you're Alex, right? You can't chase your brother. You know how fast your brother is. So does the rest of the grid, though. So this ain't a team sport, man. It's different. You get humbled pretty quick.
But that could be the problem with the sport.
You ever seen those NBA teams where the bench is still talking about they got a ring, they never played it? How many minutes you play? No minutes. But they can still brag about it. Because that's a team sport. The team carries you.
Right, but there's also team two in racing. There's a whole
but
there's a team if you're a boxer.
Mechanics, there's engineers, there's a whole team behind you, and I get it. Yeah, it's you on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anyone on that level, if you're on that level and you're just gonna do the bare minimum and you're not gonna push it, fans want to see pushing it. I want to see you push it on ball tires and crash, and I say that's what I want. I don't want to see.
Guess what? The difference is, Bobby, the difference is you want your team. Your team you can fumble the ball, your team will pick it up and might make the goal.
Right.
You crash out there or you lose that boxing match because it's a one-on-one. Boxing is no goal, racing is similar. No, guess what? Your team blames you afterwards. You do that a few times, now what? They want to kick you off. That's your livelihood. That's what you're putting money on food for your family down. Right? So it's totally different, bro. It's like real. It gets real up there. They are struggling and fighting and clawing for every seat they have up there.
And second place is better than no place in racing.
Right. But yeah, as we saw in all those crashes, I don't think the top three guys were trying to finish second because they would have slowed down a little bit.
They had the
and they were not. And not only that, the data gonna want you. They don't want to see that you're pushing. They don't want to see that you're not full gas. All right. They don't like, so at the end of the day, they ain't got no choice but to send it or get on the podium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shakes, man, you got one for us?
I got one for you. Yes, I got one for you. And I think you're gonna love this one.
I have to stop this after tonight.
Can we finally, according to Cheetah, right? And if everybody agrees with Cheetah, can we finally put Pecco to sleep? Can we rock him to bed and say it's over? And after this show, I don't want to hear Pecco's name again until we get second or first place.
Rex won't do that.
No, I need to know.
You gave him a chance to ask a question, Rex, and this is the question he brings.
Yeah, I need to know if, according to Cheetah,
I'll let you guys go first.
No. This is directly for you.
You first.
I want to know: Are you going to agree with me and say, Pecco, it's over? Just manage the race. Don't go for first or second because the paddock is going to be mad at you. Can we put Pecco's name to rest? Smitty, you want to see Pecco's name to rest, right? We don't want to hear him talk about it.
Yeah.
So
are you going to put him wait. What is how many points is he behind in the championship?
Like 100.
Yeah, it's like 100.
Like 100. Okay. So he was the first time he won he was down 90. came back after the summer break and didn't make too many mistakes after that. So until
Good God, Max, man.
there is more
Can't even
points than fewer
straight face.
races,
Can't even give a straight face saying this shit.
it's possible, man. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. So, Tom Brady was down, to you boys down in Atlanta by whatever at halftime, and they came back. Anything is possible. So, in sports, there's not a lot of Cinderella stories, right? But this would be a good one if there's ever to be one in MotoGP, right? So all I'm just saying is when there's fewer races than points, then I'll say it's over.
Yeah.
I don't believe you mixed fixed football games in with racing, but that was good. I like that. That was good.
All right, so not yet, but soon. I will say this, right? I think that Digia is helping Pecco in the sense that he's figuring out a way to go fast on that 25 bike. And since Digia did that 3 rounds ago, Pecco's been getting a little bit quicker later in the beginning of the races and stuff like the main race, the sprint race. I don't know what to say about that. So, anything is possible. That's all I'm gonna say.
Not possible, man.
To quote the great Kevin Garnett.
Anything's not possible. Okay.
Sir, you haven't answered my question. Are you I mean, it was great. I loved it. What do they call that in Congress when you get up and you just talk and talk and talk? Filibuster. That was a great filibuster. The question was, are you putting back Pecco to sleep or not? Yes or no?
And as far as beating Mark Marquez.
No, put him to sleep. You're not going to mention him again. It's over for him for the year. Yes or no?
I think that Pecco has a better chance of beating Marquez in a race than he will in a championship. I'll give you that.
If Mark crashes, yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
So just listen, man. A win is a win. Let's not put stipulation on wins. I know it's difficult down there.
It's not a
I don't want to say bad things about
There's other people that I would
Atlanta.
put in front of Pecco to win, honestly. Even if it wasn't for Mark. Alex is better right now.
You got Alex, you got Digia, and you got Bez right now,
Digia,
right?
not so much
and Acosta is starting to get in there, right? So there are a few more people he's going to have to battle with for this, whatever is left over from the Marquez brothers.
Okay, Rex.
So your answer is yes or no. I mean, he's going around the track.
That's a no, bro.
It's a no, man. It's a no. It's like until it's over, man. I mean, that's how I look at it. So. I'm sorry, man. It's not over yet.
But
Rexy, run to the roundhouse and Cornea there.
Check it out. I got to push back some. You can't say that a win is a win.
Why not? That's how everybody around the world says a win is a win.
It's not because all wins don't feel the same.
To who?
The guy. Listen.
To the people that's winning or the people that's watching people winning?
If Pecco wins because Mark and Alex both crash, you think it feels the same as him beating Mark straight up? No, it doesn't. He had a point.
So what you're trying to say is then
it won't feel the same.
Based on that, what you're trying to say is the last year's championship is since Mark has been out and hasn't won, there should be asterisks next to the championships.
I'm not saying that, but it don't feel the same. And I'm right, man.
No. But I think I know what both y'all are right. I think the case is like if someone crashes out, like Mark crashes out and somebody else wins, they deep down know that they wouldn't have won that.
Right.
Under any other circumstance. Right. Only other circumstances possibly has the worst start, botches the start and has to make his way back up, or he has a shitty qualifying or he does a mistake in qualifying, gets super penalized and gets sent back to the grid. Right. That's the only chance you see someone like this not just coming out there on first every single time.
Right.
And this is the Michael Jordan of this time right now.
Do you think those guys say it on camera when somebody crashes out and they don't feel it? You think they feel bad cashing that check?
No, for sure not. That's why I said both y'all are right. But they still won the race, because you have to finish the race, guys.
Yeah, you got to. That's what I mean. That's part of racing is finishing. And we can say this in every sport. The best team doesn't win. The best players don't win, right? And the other teams that beat, I don't want to, I don't want to call out too many teams, but it's sometimes the best team don't win. And that's that.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Like the fastest rider doesn't win either.
Yeah.
It's the most consistent fast rider. The guys can't just be fast for 3 laps or 5 laps or 10 laps or 15 laps. You have to manage the tires at the very beginning of the race. You have to manage in the middle when you suddenly get the itch to chase someone or someone puts a pass on you. You might want to burn up your tires, but you got to understand there's still 10, 15 more laps to go because these GP riders are racing 26, 28 laps. So you have to manage the same set of tires for that long. The fuel load's changing. Everything's changing. You're changing your mapping along the way. Everything's working through. So these guys are like surgical the way they race, so they have to manage all that. You have to be very smart, man. You can't just burn it all up in the first 5-10 laps. That's for sure. Like we do in club racing, right, Smitty? We got 6 laps, 8 laps, 10 laps at the longest.
Right.
Burning
I
the thing
manage
up.
tires.
Yeah, I use same set for second set of second race if I need to. You know what I'm saying? So you can't do that in this kind of league, man. It's a different thing. What do you think about that, Bobby?
But, Rex left his peckle though.
Yeah, I didn't know Rex's camera went off.
I'm still here though. I'm sorting that out.
Unbelievable.
Come on, Rex, sort it out, man.
Right? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Take off the lens cap. That'll help.
No, it's not that. It's
I know.
It's something else. But go ahead, man. And I think it's your turn to ask a question. I'll get it sorted out.
Oh, okay. A question. Let's see what I got for you. So with Pedro Acosta lining up Moto 3 and Moto 2, and supposedly was crowned as the next guy in line behind, the Rossi and the Marquez, and why is he struggling so much? Is it him mentally, or is it the bike that he's not doing that good on? Like, what's wrong with Acosta?
He came to the GP class and met a few aliens. I was like, oh, had a UFO encounter. I was like, that might have been part of it because he is still top 5, top 6 right now. I truly think that's the case. So when you come to MotoGP, guess what? The top 6 people were probably front runners in Moto 2 some years ago. Zarco, he's a champion. Yeah. So you have guys like this that are in there running top 7, top 8 that can't make it to first or second. So this is the best of the best of the best. And so there's no BSing in this, right? And to take it back to teams versus individual sport, at the end of the day, when you're out there, there's no team to save you, bro. The team can't fight for you and the team can't race for you. They're sitting back there praying and hoping with their fingers crossed, like Mark's dad, right? Yeah.
That's what I think, Rex, on Acosta.
I missed that question. Can you say it again?
So Acosta was the man in Moto 3, the man in Moto 2 by a long shot. And he was supposed to be the next, alien to come in and kind of just challenge Marquez, or at least be close to where Marquez is and beat everybody else. Why is he not doing that? Is it the team? Is it the bike? Is it him? Is he just not there mentally? Like, what's wrong with Acosta?
It's the bike.
The bike.
Okay.
The same reason why Mark is on a Ducati and didn't stay with Honda. I think, and we can't sit here and say that Vinales is a slouch or Bastianini or Bender, who's been there forever. So it's the bike. I will say it's good to see the KTMs up as far as they've been this past round and stuff like that. So there's hope for that. Will they get over the hump to challenge Ducati? I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Right now, Aprilia is looking really good, but they're still in the mix. So yeah, I think it's the bike, and that's why the rumor mill is out there saying he wants to go to VR46 Academy. But Digia and Frankie are like, no, we happy right here. We good.
We're all Italian right now.
Right.
What are your thoughts, Shakes, on that?
2 thoughts. I agree with Cheetah. He's just around other aliens. Everybody has an idea until they get punched in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And I think the issue is it is the bike. There's a small little component in the motor that's failing, like really tiny small, like you can't really find it. So until they find that little part, then the bike will be fixed. Come on, 45. Stop with the excuses, the bike. Come on. You're a professional. You're supposed to ride that thing. I don't want to hear it's the bike. But I get it.
I think
you make a lot of excuses. You have to be a little bit more, lenient with your talk.
You think that's what it is?
I don't think that's what it is.
It could be. I don't know.
Because the bike's been great. The bike's been there.
KTM?
Yeah, KTM.
No. KTM has
KTM's
not.
been there.
KTM has not. They haven't been on the podium. I mean, besides Maverick, I should say, he's in, and they got taken away from him. They haven't been on the podium, so it's definitely when you got 4 riders. Well, I'll give Bastianini a pass. You got 3 riders that are really competitive. That are kind of you all see them kind of fall back towards the end of the races and stuff like that. So they're having issues with that bike, and KTM knows that. And what's his name? Brett Pitt Breyer. The CEO. Well, he stepped down. He just runs the race program now. Yeah, the guy in the wheelchair.
The Prieto or something like that.
Yeah. He even said it in an interview that because he was asked that over the weekend. About the rumors about with Acosta, and he kind of says when you're young, you don't realize that you should marry you're married with your wife and you have to stay with them. When you're young, you want to still look at girls and stuff like that. And that was his analogy about Acosta being young, that he wants to flirt and look at other options. But when you get older, you realize where you need to be. So, but he also said that the bike is not where it is yet, and so that's kind of what they're trying to sort out. And they're a young program still. You have to remember they're still a young program compared to Honda and Yamaha, right? They're still a pretty young program, and Aprilia, right? They're still a pretty young program. So yeah, man, it's definitely the bike.
I would have to disagree with you. I know they haven't got podium all season, but we can't be a prisoner of the moment, right? Aprilia's coming, Honda's stolen some, but the bike that has challenged Ducati year to year has been KTM. For some reason they fall apart, but if you were to look at the standings without Aprilia showing and Honda stealing some, you would say the second best bike on the grid, you'd have to give it to KTM. And for some reason, they can't finish the race and they can't get on the podium. But to me, in my opinion, I want to be consistent all season. KTM, to me, looks to be the second best bike on the grid. Well, not the second best bike, the 7th best bike.
Yeah.
On the grid.
Now, yeah.
You want to answer him, Cheetah, or say something?
No, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting the way the season finishes, just because all these brands are coming up. But to Smitty's point, I mean, yeah, I think I answered that question. But like, if we're talking about brands, KTM, I don't think is there yet, and they keep trying different things. They consistently are trying different aero packages for all 3 riders, consistently testing out different rear ends to try out the chatter issue, to tame that down. So obviously they're in a battle and a struggle to figure that bike, that perfect setting. And once they get that, they try to keep that and maneuver around that setting for a little, the gray area around it. They don't try to deviate too much from what I've heard. But it sounds like they really haven't found that thing yet. Because once they do, and one rider likes it, like when Maverick was doing well on it, granted the tire pressure issue, I think, is caused him to get DQ'd back or something like that. They used the setup, I believe, the next time they talked about it. So they were looking at his data. How's it clicking? How's it working? How's he up there right now? So clearly that stuff helps when a rider does get that click and it works and he steps ahead in that race. They will use that and they will find that nugget. Maybe that's the right-hand corners track. And they were like, okay, we know how to set this bike up for that way. Right. But that's how they build and grow, in my opinion. They're not there yet, though.
No, I don't think so. And Shakes, Ducati's battling Ducati for the title this year. They did it last year. They did it the year before, and before that, Quattuara got one. So there hasn't been any bike close to Ducati in a little bit. And that second place is still a little ways away. Now, like I said, Aprilia and KTM are very close in the sense of they're starting to get on the podium and stuff like that. And who knows what the second half of the season is going to look like. And, hopefully when Jorge Martin comes back, we may see some leaps and bounds with Aprilia.
I think the leaps and bounds are happening now without Jorge Martin. I think I've been saying this all season. I think KTM has been the 7th best bike on the grid. We could talk about that on another show. Aprilia's making a move, and I think Bez is like, man, this is my time to shine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're breaking into houses, and then you find one with the door open, and you just go in, and it's like, oh my God, they left the door open, and they left cookies on the table, and there's milk, and there's a pair of slippers and a robe for me to take a bath. It's what Martin has done to Bez is crazy. It's like, here you go, brother.
Yeah.
It's
It's not the exact same thing with what happened to Lorenzo, but at the end of Ducati and Lorenzo's stint, even though Lorenzo was winning, the relationship was already severed. So even if Martin comes and have a beautiful second half and next year wins the title, I don't think Aprilia will keep him after that.
No,
you know?
Agreed.
So that's the tough part. But let's talk about the I mean, I know Smitty's question why the only 10 riders finish, but there's some crazy crashes. Who's Morbidelli's hurt. Maverick is hurt. Just had surgery. It was great to see Luca back, but Luca was it looked like he was in a lot of pain. Alex is back, looked like he was in a lot of pain. What do you guys thought about just seeing the beginning of the race, how it was going, and then up to 4 laps left, dudes that was on the podiums were crashing out.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. Like, I mean, I'm sure they all have a collective thing to say about what went wrong there on that track or what's causing them to crash that much, because a lot of those crashes were in the same areas. So it's interesting. A lot of manufacturers down. It's not just one thing going on, not a rider mistake that put everyone down. Definitely was happening consistently. So did anyone, I don't understand if anyone ever really understood what was going on with the track that was making that happen. But I know track conditions change when it rains and it gets hot again and all that. They may not have gotten the chance to get that optimal setup on qualifying for this specific race. So I don't know. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Frankie, but his crash was pretty bad though. Frankie's.
Oh yeah.
So he probably be out for a while. It looks like, but luckily one race, then they got the summer break. So
he's been having a tough luck with crashes. You know what I mean? From last year to this year, he might be the new Miguel, because again, when these guys, I think they taste that they can get on the podium. You know what I'm saying? And those guys are taking a little bit more risk than some of the other guys, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, before we move on to World Superbike, I want to talk about Moto 2 and motor crashes crashes, and also Dennis Anchu won the race, which it's one of the first time I've seen Dennis smile, because even if he's on the podium, if it's not first place, it's like he just wants to break the trophy, like he's allergic to second and third place. Did you guys see Moto 2, and what do you think of that? Also the crash with Moreira and who was it? Who did he take out? Well, there's one with Moreira,
Alonso Lopez, right?
I believe it was Alonso Lopez. There's one with Arenas, right? There's another one with Arenas as well. I know it was with Davio Alonso, who ran into the back of Diego Moreira.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch Moto 2. I'll be honest. I'll let Smitty go.
No, I saw the highlights. I didn't see the full race at all. So
yeah,
I think the way we could correct this in Moto 2, just put the blinkers back on the bikes, so we can know when the guy's coming back on the track. Or you could just implement your hand signals, right? So you just come off the handlebar and you go like this. That means you're making a right turn. And you just everybody knows that you're taking a right turn. Or just put your blinker on, right? Because we all hate people that just comes out of the left lane into the right lane without using the blinker. We want just use your blinker. That's all. And then we can fix Moto 2. Just put the blinkers back on the bikes. Because clearly, if you're watching Moto 2 all season, those guys need blinkers.
This guy. Gotta wipe off after that.
You right? We're in church today. I
With
will
that
say
cold glass
this,
of water too, right there too.
right? It was pretty cool to see. Again, Dennis Anshu winning. His brother won in World Super Sport, and then obviously Top Rack won. Let's talk about the Superbike races over in, I forget where they were.
Donington.
Oh, yeah, Donington Park. Yeah. What do you guys think of the racing and the struggles that happened with the Lowes brothers?
Yeah, I mean, it was the Lowe's brothers crashing, struggling early and crashing early in race 2. I mean, Top Rack just simply dominating, just completely hat tricking everything, and then winning all 3 races, and then just securing even Super Bowl qualifying everything. Right, it's just all handed to him. You had the drama, the crash one that I was talking about earlier. That was wild, man. Bautista and Sam Lowe's and everyone get crashed out. No, I'm sorry, Bautista. Yeah, that was Bautista. That's right, Bautista, Sam Lowe's, and it was another rider that went down. I forget who it was, Montella or someone like that. Yeah, man, it was
I think
crazy.
so.
It was crazy just to watch all that drama. Very exciting race, man. And are we surprised that Sam Lowe's crashed out?
To hear Lewis tell it, nah.
Yeah, Lewis was bashing him. He doesn't let
Man,
off.
Alex, the brothers.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, man? Smitty?
My thoughts is I was kind of shocked to see how Top Rack dominated, because last year we thought Bulliger was, the new guy in town. And Top Rack's kind of, okay, well, he's on his way out going to GP. He's not the same anymore, but he came back and said, nah, I'm still Top Rack that I was the year before, and this is still my show. So you got to beat me. And he proved that he's still the guy to beat in World Superbike. And Bulliger, well, he's still solid, but he's not Top Rack. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that he started in a I would have to look at the grid position exactly, but he wasn't on the first row, Bulliger,
right.
And so he had to come through on some riders, and there were some fast riders. Granted, the Lowe's brother
Fair
crashed
enough.
out, but Petrucci was fast. Ray was fast in the beginning as well. So that's the unfortunate side, but he was able to at least minimize the damage. I think he's just down 4 points going into the next round. And I think he also had bad luck at the previous race and was taking out one of the races and didn't score any points and stuff like that. Bulliger, and also had an engine failure at another round. So, those things happen. But I think Bulliger has the pace to fight with Top Rack if he's starting on the same row. If he's starting from the back, then it's anybody's game.
Gotcha. But then Gerloff had a solid weekend also. He had a top 6 in one of the races.
Yeah. This was just Top Rack's circuit, right? He's got the most wins there now at this point. I think they said it was like 12 wins, 12th win at Donington. So I mean, you're expected to win there. I think Bulliger will come back though this season. I think he's definitely got a chance. He's too strong, and given those failures he had and all that happening, he's only 4 points behind. I think the next rider is 100 plus points again, just like MotoGP. I mean, these guys are like Mark and Alex right now, as far as Bulliger and Top Rack, right? They're like Mark and Alex, except there's not much of a gap there. It's going to be much more interesting at World Superbike on who really wins that championship, I think.
It's going to be much more interesting. And I'll ask this. Who do you think is more hungry out of Top Rack or Bulliger? Because, it's Top Rack's last year as he's going to MotoGP. And so this is his last opportunity to get a win. And Bulliger hasn't had one yet in World Superbike.
I think Top Rack, man, he's just got that dog in him, just like that pure dog, man. And he's going to prove a point by winning this season to come into MotoGP real strong,
Right.
I think he's just going to do that. But again, he's going to come there and have another UFC alien encounter, man. He's going to run into these fucking UFOs and be like, what is this? So it's going to be interesting.
Let me go back to World Superbike. Right.
Right.
And then Alvaro's complaining again about the whole weight thing.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good point for a small guy, man. I mean, I think there's something about getting used to your machine to make it feel like it's an extension of you. And this guy's been racing his whole life a certain way, and he's not I think if he was a younger rider, he probably would adapt a lot easier. but he got too many miles on bikes. And I think that he just needs more time on the bike. And I think that's the downside because he's not getting another year. So, you know, he may go to, I don't know, he'll probably go to Honda or somewhere. I can't see him going to a satellite team. But I think for him, that's a real struggle. And it's a pity, though, because, you know what I mean? Like, that has to be frustrating for him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but
and he's a dog, right? He's not a slouch. He's definitely, you know, I mean, it was him and Top Rock, right? I mean, he had two back-to-backs, and he was the guy to beat Top Rock.
But you know, you're correct. But you know what folks fail to even realize, that even though he's adding weight to the bike, it brings with one advantage. Him having these ballasts of lead or whatever metal they use, you could put it where you want.
Right.
Which in a sense, okay, so let's say the bike like, but you corner like exit, and it really is too much.
Right.
Okay, add you know, more weight to the front. Or let's say, you know, you're on the brakes and you kind of unstable. Okay, add weight to the back. So you have some play in there.
Right.
It's not a total like hamper to the guy. There's ways to work around it, you know?
But I gotta assume then you're messing with the suspension and the geometry, because that's gonna change other thing. It's not as simple as just
for that.
But correct. But you think about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long, how like to figure out where to I mean, I'm pretty sure because they've been adding weight to bikes for a while. So it's not like starting from the beginning. But at the same time, you're going to have to be putting it on different sections of the bike and go out there and test it. And testing, I don't know, they might have to put in 100 laps before he's like, all right, it feels good. It's not, I don't believe,
though,
you know what I mean?
It's like trying to balance a tire. You put it on different spots until it's balanced. It takes time, but you get eventually, you know.
Cars don't care about feelings and bikes don't care about feelings, but we humans do. It's like don't feel right. I mean, you know that. You know, I guess in a car it's a little different because it's just the vibration. But I think for him it's a struggle, and you know, and for other riders it may not be, because I mean in Motor America, they've added weight to the Yamahas, the R9s. Right. And Blake Davis just went out there and was killing it. And, you know, you see it's Motor America. So, I mean, I think that for everyone, it's going to be a little bit different how they adjust the things. We saw that with Morbidelli coming over to Ducati and the first year, how long it took him to get quick on the bike and stuff like that. And there's some other riders that it just takes a little bit longer for them to get up to speed than others. And, you know, that's the downside. But he's also an older rider. And, you know, but I think if the bike was less weight, had the weight he had when he was winning, I think it would be a 3-dog fight instead of a 2-dog fight.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's aged out a little bit.
You know, after a certain age, it hurts. So you don't like falling down after a certain age.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like Johnny Ray.
You know?
Skill does go, man. I mean, skill not necessarily goes, but the ability to put that skill down.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all have
reflexes,
that skill in our head. The skills built.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I used to train a lot in Muay Thai and boxing, and I used to hit the bag a lot. All of a sudden, I took like 6-7 years off, and I go back and start hitting the bag. I'm still hitting it hard, but my fists were not ready.
Right,
you know,
right.
My wrist, my fist, everything was sore, and I couldn't even hit the bag for a while. So it's just like you have to take your time into that, and then skill will go, man. I mean, hand-eye coordination is a big one in motorcycling. And I don't know how fast I would have been if I started when I was 20, right? But I started when I was like 28, you know, so, and I was luckily able to pick it up quickly, but I wish I would have started when I was 20, because you have much more, you know, cojones is what they call it.
Yeah, look, right now my kids are grown. So right now I'm kind of in grandfather mode. You know, I told my kids one day, look, y'all need kids, man. And minute that kid is born, Project Marquez, I'm telling you.
Maybe we can talk about that, man. I don't know if you're open to that, Rex. Just pace and age and everything we were talking about earlier, Smitty. You can bring that up again if you want.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a thing for sure, obviously, because we see older riders leave, but then we also see we're at an age where there are a lot of tennis players playing at high levels in their 30s. Tom Brady played at a high level later in life. Michael Jordan played at a high level later in life with the Wizards. Even though he was on the Wizards, he was still averaging ridiculous points. Look at the stats. Look at the stats. He was averaging like 29 points a game still. So he I mean, on one knee. You know what I'm saying? And you've mentioned this before, Smitty. Josh Hayes started. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Started racing at like 26 or whatever. So he was an older guy.
Yeah,
racing,
he was later. Yeah,
and he's in his 50s, and he's still running with these guys in super sport. You know what I mean? So I think for every person it's different, but usually people over a certain age start to tap out, don't want to get up at whatever time, don't want to make the drive, don't want to do a lot of things. And once that creeps in, then I can see that. But for somebody, who's still hungry, that fire is still burning, and with motorcycle, again, the high end, I don't think they'll be racing, MotoGP bike because Alvarez not, and so forth. But I think he's finishing third, and outside of crashes and stuff like that, he'll finish top 5. I mean, that's still good.
Yep. No, I agree.
So, but the medicine they have today is ridiculous to keep you young. You know what I mean? And the tech that they have. So I think it's just if you hurt yourself, what's that recovery like? That's the biggest thing in motorcycle racing. If you to break up yourself at John McGuinness, right? It's kind of like, if after 40 and you break up a lot of bones,
no, it's different.
It's different. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was telling my kids, so right now I'm 48, and I was telling my kids, like when I was, 20 years old, I was like, like freaking what's dude's name? Like Wolverine. I'll get hurt. I'll bounce up with no problem at all, man. Injuries, like I'm fine. Now I'm like old man Logan, man. Like my heel powers don't work anymore, So I'm hurt for mad long now with the smallest thing, Your back hurts for like 10 weeks straight sometimes for no reason. It's terrible.
I mean, what do they say? They say your talent is day to day, but your class is permanent. And if you have good class, you could always compete at the highest level. And I don't think it's an age thing. I just think some of these guys didn't have the class to maintain. They had the talent, which is day to day. They didn't have the class. Like a guy like Tom Brady has the class. Marc Marquez has the class. So there's a difference. I don't think it's age. It's your talent is day to day, but your class is permanent. And some guys are just a one of one.
Right.
It's age.
Right. No, I think you can explain that in many different words. Class is one. Just naturally gifted. Like Tracy McGrady talks about it. I was listening to him on a podcast. If you guys remember him from basketball, he was like, I could hit a golf ball this far away. I could hit a baseball out the thing, and I could shoot a basketball from wherever. And he's like, right now, the interviewer was like, right now, he's like, no, I could do that right now because some people are just gifted like that. Right. Now, when he said that, I was like, that's so true, man. I just remember in high school, there's just some gifted athletes, and these guys don't even make it to the big leagues.
Yep.
So I'm thinking like, we don't even have the best in my high school, but there's still levels to this. Right. And you take the best guy from every high school, and there's one best guy in that school out of all those people. Right. That's just elite. That guy's college ball. That guy becomes a star. So
we're all built differently, and some people have everything it takes. I know people like that as well that can they I got a buddy who can hit a golf ball. When he first started playing golf, his shot was ugly as ever, but he can hit it straight as ever. With there's some people who are just naturally talented and can do these things, but that's enough to just say, hey, you're that good. But Josh Schmidt is a good example that played for Atlanta, right? He's a guy that has the same gift, and to hear Jeff Teague talk about it, he just never practiced, and he was able to do everything that he was doing. And so imagine if he was practicing, in the sense of team ball and stuff like that. It's just he could hit a shot and create his own shots. Yep. So but sometimes you need to be polished, right? It's like that's going to get you so far, but to win championships and all those things, you have to learn how to play team ball as far as basketball is concerned. But obviously in motorcycle racing, you still can have all those talents. We've seen it in Moto 2, we've seen it in Moto 3, guys that were killing it, and then for whatever reason they get to GP. And we see with Raul Fernandez a little bit, right? He was killing it, and he's having struggles. But in Moto 2, if he stayed one more year, he probably would have won the title the following year instead of coming out with Remy Gardner.
You know what's really crazy, since we're talking about class and talent? It blows my mind if we go back 30, 40 years, like Michael. Yeah, is it 30 years from Michael Jordan? Probably, right?
Yeah, 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, it's a long time. Almost Jordan,
40 years, right?
Michael Jordan, no shade. I mean, the guy's smoking cigars and drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, these young athletes, they're eating right. They're going to the academy. I mean, these guys back in the day, they just picked up a bike and won Grand Prix. Like it's crazy. So like some guys have the class, and some guys don't need to practice. It blows my mind that not a lot of younger athletes are not shattering the records of the old guys who were drinking, smoking, having sex with 10 women before the race. Like what is going on?
Yeah, and that was in car racing and bike racing too back then.
Remember,
smoking cigarettes.
Spraying champagne with a whiskey nip in your back pocket. Like,
think about it. They were drinking Coke in the 80s. They weren't drinking Gatorade.
Yeah. With actually probably Coke in it, right?
Coke in it, right? Exactly.
I mean, it's crazy. Like talent is day to day, class is permanent. Like a guy like Michael Jordan, LeBron James should be shattering what Michael Jordan did in a short amount of time with the medicine and all of that. And all these guys, all these young guys, like Top Rack. He's going to come to MotoGP and he's going to be fighting for 10th place, which blows my mind because he's such a young talent. But there's a guy named Marquez who just has permanent class, and that's it.
It's interesting you say that, Bobby. I'm not the biggest NBA fan. I don't watch all the games. I don't know all the players, but I'm a fan of greatness, and greatness transcends all sports, right? It just goes into everything. So watching Jordan, I was listening to somebody talk about the story on the team, and he was like, we dropped him off. He's like, drop me off right here at the bar. And he's in his sweats and everything. And he has a couple beers. Like, I'm going to go and drink some beers. And like, we got practice. He's like, yeah, pick me up before practice. So they pick him up, and he's on the court, and he's buzzing. They could smell the beer off him, and they're just smelling everything. And these are players telling the stories. He goes to the practice. He's like, look, I'm seeing 3 rims. I'm going to shoot for the one in the middle. And he's dropping them, training them. Some people are just gifted, man. Like some people just have it. But then you had another person like Steve Kerr talking about when he was on the Bulls, the 98 Bulls, and he was talking about how he didn't have that natural giftedness. So he had to have everything perfect. That's like tire management is done in MotoGP. He had to manage his life perfectly to be in the NBA. He had to practice all day. He had to get the right amount of rest, get the right amount of sleep, the right amount of nutrition, and use his head for all of it. Right. Some people are just naturally gifted and they don't have to do that much. That's cigars and everything. Yeah.
And then other people have to work really hard at it 24/7. And what's interesting is the Steve Kerrs, they tend to make it because they get the, I don't want to say work ethic, but the hunger is different for them because it's not coming as easy. It's, you know what I mean? And so they got to spend more time doing that. And we've seen that with, as you know, the story says, LeBron James wasn't the best kid coming out. And, we're seeing, I think the guy was on Showtime. I forget his name, but like,
he wasn't the best coming out. What you mean?
There was another kid that was better than him, but like, bad decisions, and just, didn't get him to go play. You know what I mean? And that,
I forget his name.
Yeah, I forget his name. They did a thing on him on Showtime, I think. And
Robinson, right? No, he's a big guy. I forget his name.
Which was unfortunate. So like that, and we see it a lot. You see it a lot with musicians. You see it a lot with a lot of athletes. Like, if they don't have the right guidance, they don't have the right people around them. You know what I mean? With all the talent, they still can't get there. So the people that just put in the work and they get there because they have to put in that work ethic.
I don't know. I heard about that guy, but I just want to say this for my basketball purist guys. A LeBron James at 15 years old cooked Michael Jordan in the summer camp when they played. He played. Jordan and LeBron played together. LeBron was 15 and cooked Jordan.
I heard about that too. Yeah.
So this guy that was better than LeBron, that's fake news.
I don't believe it either.
All right.
Fake news.
We'll go with that. What are your guys' thoughts on Redden and his struggles? And it looks like he might be going back to BSB, or going to BSB or go back because he did win a championship. And just what's going on with the team.
Yeah, I think he's done, man. He needs to go to BSB and turn off all the electronics and see how he can handle it there, because all that crying, man, I'm tired of seeing that stuff from him. And you just don't got it, bro. Like it's okay. You once had it and you don't have it. You do have to adapt. You have to adapt and keep it moving, right? But to expect yourself to still have it and blame everything else, or think you need this bike or that bike. Sometimes you do need to test yourself. As a rider, I'll say you might think that because that other rider's on that Ducati or whatever bike he's on, that he has it's taking him further. So you have to get on that bike and see, but he did it and nothing changed,
No, we'll see. But you know what? But so oddly enough, but outside of MotoGP, in terms of like a series for a country, Moto America, BSB, and those type of things, BSB is by far my favorite series. That series is so close together. Like the top 6 riders every week is somebody different, that wins the race. And BSB is amazing. Those guys ride with no freaking rider age, no electronics. Those guys are freaking elbows, freaking hitting each other the entire race. Those guys ride hard and beast, and they're insane. And the tracks are narrow as hell too. So I don't know how they do this shit over there. But BSB, if you can, go watch it. It's that good, seriously. It really is.
No doubt.
I would agree with Smitty.
Yeah, I love BSB.
It's like what Moto 2 is aggressive too. Real aggressive. It's like watching Moto 2 without people not using the blinker and crashing and taping people out.
BSB is like that.
Yeah, BSB is
narrow
a lot
tracks.
cleaner. Narrow tracks, is a cleaner, harder race. And I think that's the racing that we want to see MotoGP, right?
Right.
We want to lower the CCs, get rid of all the assists that Ducati has. The oil assist going into turn 8, the bike drops oil, everybody flips. We want to get rid of all electronics in MotoGP.
Like Mario Kart, man, dropping oil on the track.
Yeah. All the assists.
Hey, when all that stuff goes away, who's gonna excel?
The guy with the most balls.
It's still gonna be Mark. It's gonna be Mark even better, probably, because like that guy is used to the bike shaking and moving around. He comes from that motocross background. There's going to be a few of those guys up there. It's going to be so fun to watch the bikes fully stripped down and down a few horsepower and just more aerodynamic. It's going to be so fun. Hopefully it gets more like World Superbike and BSB, like Bobby Shakes is saying. I think that'll be more fun.
Shout out to Chris from Pin the Gas podcast. He's commenting on Facebook. He said the BSB is proper mega. Definitely go check it out. He did go to Cadwell Park in 23, and I've had Chris on the show.
Chris is dope, man. I've been on his show. I interviewed him too on his own show. That was a pretty cool time.
I love BSB.
No, yeah, definitely. So it's definitely to watch BSB, and hopefully it'll get there. So also, and Smitty, I think you were talking about this in the chat because Redden talked about pro riders shouldn't be paying for their ride. What are your thoughts on
I find that odd, actually. I never understood why that happens. So I started to watch racing years ago. Back when there was Nicky Hayden, like Eric Bostrom, Curtis Roberts, Duhamel, Matt Amaladin. That's when I started to watch racing. And back then, riders got paid. Even like the middle guys got paid something. And this whole new thing of you got to spend $200,000 to get a ride, I don't see how it makes sense at all. And understand that's what it has become. So you have to adapt to it. But I don't see why to that point. It's just it becomes a sport, for rich kids, honestly.
Yeah, that is
Well,
true. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, if I may, I think it's the bikes continue to just evolve in class and technology and everything, and it costs more and more to own a bike and race a bike, and you have to have multiple of these bikes. So it's not even like the racing used to be back in the day, and also back in the day, I think there was a splurge of motorcycle sales in the 80s, 90s that just allowed them to just put more money into racing, and maybe that just didn't work out the way they thought it would. But it obviously sales have slowed down a lot, and so is racing, money into racing rather. That goes hand in hand.
Sponsorships.
What's that?
No, I mean the big name like
Sponsorships. Yeah,
tobacco,
sponsorships.
alcohol, sponsorship. Right. Okay, I
For
get it.
sure. Yeah, they don't want to they don't care to put they'd rather put it on NASCAR or something else like F1, right? So it does come with the eyes and sales, and everything goes hand in hand, I think.
Okay, so the question is NASCAR the same way? Like, do guys pay for cars
Probably not.
in NASCAR?
I think so. I think in
Okay.
motor racing, if it has a motor, I think they're paying because you can, the privateers are paying, riders are paying to ride on the privateers. Some of them. I had a good friend who raced as well, and he's like, yeah, a lot of guys are paying, and even sometimes, they'll get the guy with all the money and give him the second car while they pay the guy who's fast and give him the other car. So,
Gotcha.
It's brutal that way, and it's unfortunate. But we all love motorsports, and if I had the money, I'll pay you.
I mean, but
Yeah.
they just did a stat, right? That New York New York alone has added so many more millionaires to their demographics or to their citizenship of New York City.
Okay.
There's a lot of money out there. I know everybody probably wants Pirelli on their front, or you want Goodyear, or you want Michelin, but there's money out there for you to go write some proposal and get some new faces into the sport, because that's the only way the sport's going to grow, right? If everybody has a Pirelli and a Goodwrench and this and that and a Michelin, maybe we should have Wayfair, right? Wayfair's $1 billion company. Maybe Walmart, maybe Apple. Maybe Apple could give you some of their AI tools to help you with your racing and get away from the PC setup, right? Apple has $2 trillion in cash, right? So
Right.
I think the way the sport's going to grow is if the riders go out and attract new people into the sports. The only way it's going to grow. Pirelli. My mother doesn't know what the hell a Pirelli is. She has no idea what the hell a Pirelli is. But I bet if my mom was watching TV and she saw a guy in a Homes Good outfit, she'd go, oh, I just saw a motorcycle guy in a Home Good outfit, and my son has a motorcycle. Let me tune into the race and see what's going on, right? We have to expand through sponsorship. We're not going to expand through viewership. We have to expand through sponsorship. And I think there's a lot of money out there, a lot of money, and you can get it.
I think it's viewership too, man, because this year has record viewership in MotoGP and Moto America.
Right.
And I don't know, I haven't kept up with World Superbike, but I would assume there too. So there is an upward trend in viewership, which will result in sales, which will result in sponsorships getting more eyes. I think it's a cycle, man. I truly believe it's a cycle that will, hopefully comes back to where motorcycling is up there.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
And when you say that, though, we're really saying in the U.S. because in Europe, motorcycling is there.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's in the U.S. and U.S. people in the U.S. Watching the shows. I mean, MotoGP now is TNT is now at MotoGP rounds and stuff like that, and that's huge.
Yes.
So I think more TV deals will come, but you need that, but obviously you need the eyes to watch the shows. If not, it's hard to get a TV deal. But I think where teams get to set their own terms as far as the relationship with the rider. There's no union like the NBA or I think the NFL even have a union. I don't know if there's a riders union in MotoGP and stuff like that. And they use that to negotiate a lot of stuff because the NBA had to fight for all the money that these young kids are getting. And even we see that with NFL, obviously European football is out the roof for what these people are getting and stuff like that. So
what's European football?
I didn't want to say soccer. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
We just call it football, and that
All right,
shit
fine.
that the Americans play. I don't know what the fuck that is.
So, I forgot I was talking to a Brit.
Football. Yeah. Football. I don't know what the fuck the Americans do, but football.
European football. I knew what you meant.
Football. Fucking European
For the audience,
football. What the fuck is that?
So I do think the numbers will come around, I think, at some point. But it's going to be hard when teams get to set their own standard, and it's not like or a donor is going to have to do something, or the new owners are going to have to do something, because obviously F1, we see it. We see the drivers are getting good money, and I think that will trickle down, because obviously Liberty Media Group owns MotoGP, or a good percentage of MotoGP, and I believe they're in the business to make money. So I think it will come, but it needs to, like, it's really hard for families to keep their kids who are fast. We all know a lot of fast people that can't race in Motor America, and they have the skill sets to, but they can't afford to, because they haven't got a ride, or they don't have the money to pay for a ride. And it's tough when you guys were mentioning, being 20 and being able to get racing. These kids are racing from 4. And, the only thing that's stopping them from going to that next level is not having enough money.
Now, I'm telling you, if I have grandkids, he'll be in MotoGP.
All right.
Yeah, and then if you look at, I follow Tour de France stuff too. Their teams, you would imagine cycles, right? They're cycles. Just think about a cycle. These cycles cost $15,000-$20,000. They're not cheap cycles, right?
No, they're not cheap.
But just think about the lowest budget on the team. If you guys don't know, I would be laughing at your guess. The lowest budget teams like 35 million a year.
Yeah.
The higher
Tour
ones
de
like UAE, yes, UAE. The UAE team, Emirates, 120 million, 150 million from UAE. They're bringing all their money and putting the best rider in the best seat. And it's a team of like 20 riders, so they have to pay them all the salary. The top rider gets millions. They get rich out there, man. So I know it's possible to kind of look past in MotoGP level. I know it's possible to get all the funding to fund all the bikes on the grid eventually, right? But I don't know if that's going to trickle all the way down to Moto America and World Superbike to that point, because racing's expensive, man. At the end of the day, these are bikes, technology, constantly updating. So it's a lot of money they have to throw at them. I don't know if they'll ever get to that point.
No,
it's crazy, right? Like, you stay on Tour de France, the United States Postal Service used to sponsor a team.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
They were. USPS was.
Yeah, it's the money has gotten really crazy, and unfortunately now, I coach girls lacrosse out in Belmont, and my problem with Belmont is because it's such a rich town, all my talent goes to private schools. I still have talent that goes to the public schools, but a lot of my high-end talent goes to the private schools. So that means Belmont public system, the lacrosse team it's still great. No shade to my girls, still great, but we're losing talent to the private schools. We're losing talent to the AAUs. Remember those days when you were like a poor kid in the hood, and you see these stories? I just wanted to play basketball. Those days are over.
Right.
If you're not a millionaire, your kid's not playing in the NBA. Forget about it. Just not happening. And it's happened to all sports. First it starts with the high-end sports like F1. F1, forget about it. Lewis Hamilton is probably the last Negro ever to friggin' race a car, right? I mean, it's over. And then it trickles down to MotoGP, and then it trickles down to the next sport will be football, American football, even football in Europe. Forget about it. It's sickening, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's over, and wow, it's depressing.
Right. Yeah, and we're seeing that in America now too, because I mean, with the Talent Cup, I think it's called Talent Cup, or I forget what it's called now. They're setting up these bikes to be GP bikes, as far as the feel and stuff like that. So these kids will have a fighting chance. The Kramers, right?
Yeah.
Because over there, it's already it is like the football program over there and stuff like that. You can go ride bikes everywhere over there, and everywhere you can learn over there. So and we've seen that in MotoGP with the nationalities that are in the sport right now. So you're absolutely right. It is very hard for someone without connections or money to be in the sport right now, or any sport, because it's hard to compete. I mean, the talented ones will compete, right? They will shine through. But when it comes down to, I need money to go to all these places, and that's where it's like, it's almost like, back in the day, maybe it still happens. Lawyers will drug dealers used to get locked up, and lawyers will take their case for years and just bleed their money out. You know what I'm saying? And then they have no money. You know what I'm saying? So it's really difficult for parents to provide, for their kids at that level, and that's the unfortunate side.
And one parent has to stay home. Like, you can't have two working parents if your kid is in athletics and you're chasing that, because one parent has to be on the road with the child.
Yeah,
you're all over the place.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Clinic. You're all over the place. So, man,
my buddy Riston Grigg, shout out to him. He's a Moto America. He's a teammate with Cam Peterson. He's injured himself in qualifying the first race of the season. He's been out, had a fusion. He's just getting back on a track this weekend to NC Bike to test out. But his dad, man, shout out to him, Steve. He's spending all his weekends just traveling up and down the U.S., the coast, everywhere, driving the trailer, right? So that's a dad's job if you're an athlete.
It's man, where have we come?
I mean, I think that we have to. I think that we have to talk about it like we're doing, and find a different way for folks to get capital. There are a lot of people with a lot of money that do want to give it away, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to connect with them and make it where it makes sense to help riders. You know what I mean? I think so, because at the end of the day, it's like the teams, like some teams, again, the riders can't have their own personal sponsors, right? And so now the team has all the sponsors and they're getting all the money. So that's an issue right there. But get past that. It has to be the community that comes together and figure this thing out, because it does take away from the motorsport. Especially when we know people and we see the struggles, and it's a lot for young riders to, not to say they shouldn't be doing it, but it's a lot to reach out to a lot of companies to try to get sponsorships, right? And it's one thing if the company's into motorcycle or the owners are into motorcycles, but if they're not into motorcycles, it's really hard to say, hey, I can bring 1,000 people to your shop or 500 people to your whatever, right? Because they're not doing it just to say we're doing it. They're doing it with the expectation that they're going to get a return on the investment.
And so they should. It's a business. It's racing, but it's a business, right? The reason why I give you a Ducati to spin around a track 12 laps is so that Jimmy could go and buy one of those things, right? The reason why I give you a Yamaha is to do the same exact thing. So yeah, it's a business. Yeah, I mean, you got to put asses in the seats. You got to put eyeballs on the TV, and we got to get these things shipped. We got to get these bikes shipped. It's business. It's a business. Get them shipped. Get them out of here.
Right. Chris is saying maybe we need to get cigarettes and beer back on the bikes.
I agree, 100%, man.
Not a bad idea.
That would be great. Never happened. Never happened.
Smoking Joes.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that I think, this is I shouldn't even say this aloud. I don't know why even the fuck I'm even going to say this aloud. But like marijuana dispensaries have money that they can't burn. But do you want to see a weed leaf on a bike? So I mean, it's how do we get the sport to eyeballs while getting the same amount of money? But we all know that the people that have all the money are just bad sponsorship for the sport. Like, do you want to see Marc Marquez whipping around the track with Ozempic written on his shirt? Like, I don't want people taking Ozempic.
I think they pushed it with OnlyFans. That's as far as they're going to go.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, OnlyFans got money to burn. But I think a team like Apple, if you approach Apple and say, hey, listen, you got $2 trillion in cash. Let's use your resources, your AI, to compete with Hewlett Packard or Dell, and let's build another revenue stream, and then now maybe we could stream that on Apple TV. Maybe while the rider's going around the track, you could flash an iTunes link to buy a hot album. There's a lot of ways that we could increase revenue in the sport. It's just the fact that I think the number one problem is with all these sports is the fact that the team principal wants all the money and the rider can't do his due diligence and get his own cash. I think that's the problem. If the rider could get his own sponsorship and make his own deals, fucking $200,000 for a bike, that's piss money.
Right. And some riders can. It comes down to the deal you make with the team and stuff like that. And when it's mom and dad helping with the deal, and somebody's offering you $150,000 and you're giving up, your rights and name and likeness and stuff like that, you're happy to get the $150,000 versus a lawyer might say, let's figure out all these other things and stuff like that. And that's the education part. So but it has to happen because we love the sport. I think the sport, and I think we know the sport took a hit in the 90s on, and for the last, I think 5-6 years, we've been trying to bring it back in the US and stuff like that. When I talk to people and tell them I ride bikes, one in 5 tell me how scary it is, and they won't let their husband or their kids ride or anything like that. And that's a stigma we have to change, because it's better for kids to go ride motorcycles than to be on social media. At least their self-esteem will be intact.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, also too, like I worked in the motorcycle industry. That's just an industry that dies 1% a year. It's just motorcycling is just something that just dies 1% every year. It's just an industry that just can't get forward. Now
in the US,
the only thing that's gonna save motorcycle racing.
What you got there?
It's the baggers. it's Harley Davidson.
Oh man, that's crazy. That might be the only thing that's saving Moto America viewership.
And what's going to happen is too, because that's real racing. Like if you know the history of Harley Davidson and Indian, like that's racing. I mean, this MotoGP shit, that's coming from cafe racing, guys driving around to get cappuccinos, right? That's where MotoGP comes from. Bunch of cappuccino guys. America is balls to the wall, V-twin power. And I think once the baggers go into MotoGP, you're going to see an influx. That might be the savior. That might be the savior. Harley Davidson HD for life.
It seems like it. And I was giving you crap so many years ago, Shakes, man.
Hey, listen, I don't want to get all historical. I shoot Nikon because Canon was the best camera. I'm always going against the grain. And when we were shopping bikes, and me and Rexy were on pedal bikes one night, and I mean, we were going at a clip, right? Probably like 20 miles an hour. And then Rexy said, you know what? I got to go faster. I go, wait, I mean, shit. I mean, we blew through every red light. What do you mean go faster? He said, I got to go faster. And that's when he started, he's going to go and get a Ducati, and he bought the Street Fighter. Then I started doing my own research. And I just went down a Harley Davidson rabbit hole. And as a Black person, Harley Davidson has done so much for the Black community that I just thought, shit, I want a Harley Davidson. The customization comes from Black culture. The racing, they had a Black female. They used to tape her tits down and all type of crazy shit because the white boys would kill her. The first man to own any type of dealership was a Harley Davidson dealership. Like Harley Davidson sold a franchise to a Black man back in the day, which was just crazy. So I think, and Harley Davidson understand this because sometimes they do a thing called Iron Elite. Well, they do documentaries on Black riding over the last 200 years in this country. Well, I'm lying, not 200, 100. I should know this. 118, 120 years that Harley Davidson's been around. I think that if Harley and Indian I think that's it. You see it in the streets. You see it on Instagram. You see kids wheeling FXRs. You don't see kids really wheeling sport bikes anymore. You see guys wheeling baggers. I think that's the next phase. And I think MotoGP is doing the right thing. Like, shit, let's get some baggers in. Let's get a whole different market.
Right. They got 12 rounds next year.
Yeah. I mean, so you know, I mean, I love you cappuccino guys, but you know, you guys are all skinny and look weird.
Hey, just because drifting got popular, you ain't never seen a drift car in F1, have you?
Right.
No,
You ain't gonna see no bagger. You ain't gonna see a bagger in MotoGP. That's for sure. Like that.
No, there's no.
I know they're there, but
yeah.
But not on competing.
Not
replacing, not beating. Yeah,
no. But I'm
Superbike's still
you,
gonna be Superbike and World Superbike.
The future of motorcycle racing is the baggers. That's the future.
Yeah,
sports bike stuff is it ain't going nowhere.
I kind of see that in some ways. There's a trend. It's a trend thing, maybe.
It's the new thing. A lot of young kids are riding. Why? Because I remember at one point, I mean, what is an R6 now? The last time I left, an R6 was like 15 grand.
Yeah,
brand new R6 was 15 grand. And that was a couple years ago.
R6.
That's crazy. Yeah. But now you could get a motorcycle. You could get a 1200 Sportster for $1,500 to $2,500. So we're seeing because sport bikes and super bikes has priced everybody out. Shit, man. Hey, Dad, what are you doing with that bagger in the garage? Nothing.
Hey, but at the end of the day, those baggers, you can race them. You can spend a lot of money to race them. They're just not built to race, man. They don't feel good racing. You can take a factory bagger and you just ain't gonna feel good on the track, man.
That's not true, man.
Yeah, it won't. It's not a sport bike. It's not a sport bike.
It's not a sports bike, but man,
sport bikes are made to lean. Everything is made to be.
I agree.
The shape of it isn't meant to sit on it for hours like a bagger. It's meant to go fast, comfortably.
There is no feeling. You ask anybody that rides baggers and a sports bike, there is no better feeling than scraping a foot peg on a bagger.
There is scraping your elbow.
No.
Yeah, scraping your elbow is pretty dope.
Nah, yeah. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not. A lot of guys, and a lot of guys that we know, Rexy, they went from sport bikes to Indians, right? That's happening here. It's just a better feeling, man. It's more power up, just raw power. It's power that you could slide instead of power that you can wheelie. And I
guess, but we'll see.
It's the future. It's the future. And I know you guys hate it, but you know, the future.
All right. Speaking of future, we're gonna get out of here pretty soon, and let's talk about Bruno, Czech Republic. Any surprises that we're gonna see? You guys just gonna say
Martin? You're gonna see Martin back. Let's see. That Bez's day might be over.
Okay.
Bez's trip.
No. He's family now. Bez's family.
He's family now. He's up there. He's up there now. He's definitely a contender. And I'm just saying, Martin's gonna have a struggle. I truly think he's gonna struggle a little bit there, getting back on the Aprilia. And he looks smooth. He looks great in those photos, but I don't know exactly how it's gonna go in the race. Very interesting to see that. That's all I'm gonna be focused on too. So for Bruno, that's like it's like when Mark got on the Ducati and the Valencia test, all eyes were on him. That's how it's going to be for him, man. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way. It's good seeing Martin back on a bike that he thought wasn't good, that is good, but he's been out so long, hasn't ridden at that pace in quite a while. So I doubt he'll be like up to speed from this first week, but maybe the race after that he'll pick things up a little. So to be honest, if he's in the top 10, I'll be surprised.
Okay.
Put a little money in Cinderella.
Strip club, man. What's that? Heels and some dollars?
Yeah. There you go, Martin. There you go.
What is that? That looks like the trophy they gave, that wood trophy.
That's it. Money and a pair of high heels for that guy. Next topic.
Oh man.
Let's see, huh? I mean, Bez, anyone else has a shot besides Alex Marquez? Yeah, I mean, do you think Bez Digi was racing, so he'll
Digi may, but Alex, Pecco,
Costa.
Maybe a KTM up there is what I was gonna say. Could be Maverick, could be Acosta.
Oh yeah, and Polo Sparger is replacing Vinales.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Not
test
expecting.
rider.
Oh,
Huh?
right. Okay, that's right. Vinales is out.
Yeah, Vinales is out. So the test rider. So well, obviously he raced in, for those who don't know, in MotoGP and became a test rider. He actually gave up his seat for Acosta.
Yep.
You know, which is and you know, he's doing TV and being a test rider for KTM.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Bez has a good shot. You know, I think it's the usual suspects. Digi has a good shot. I don't know if Morbidelli is going to be back this round. So I think he, you know, depend on, you know, his recovery and how healthy he is, you know, where he'll be at and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see Alex. I mean, he did ride well, but it's a quick turnaround, right? And so I know that hand it might have been hurting Monday, Tuesday, after racing and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this track plays out for him. But it should be a good round.
Yeah, and
Quaaludes, he'd be good in the morning.
Quartararo too. It's interesting to see if he's going to get another pole.
Right.
You know, so he might be up there somewhere.
Yeah, it was good to see Quartararo before we get out of here on the podium too. You know, because he has had a lot of bad luck, even though it's just a sprint race. He's had a lot of bad luck, and for him to at least get one little something, I don't know if it's, you know, it's makes him feel really good, but at least it's, you know, it's not just going down anymore. It's starting to go up a little. So
it's a good morale boost for the team.
Yeah, for sure. All right, fellas. Want to piece you guys out is the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. We got Cheetah 740. We got Smitty, Bobby Shakes. Definitely check us out on BeForeverCool.com. You can get to all the platforms and watch us live or listen to us on all the platforms. Don't forget to like and comment. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching. Peace.
Peace.